Friday, March 11, 2016. Spy planes and chemtrail planes. So, last year I spotted at night this light moving back and forth and figured out that it was a small plane. So, I hopped online and did a search for civilian available flight radars. I highly recommend you check the site out, flightradar24.com, and was able to download the flight history of the actual plane that I was watching, and you're seeing that right now. Dozens, maybe 100 or so circles over a particular area, and I ended up doing a search on the registry of it because that information is available on Flight Radar 24, and it came up with the company called PSL Surveys. Now, PSL Surveys purports to be a private company registered in Bristow, Virginia, but a little sleuthing uncovered the fact that it was, in fact, a U.S. government plane, an FBI plane. I basically came upon the same information that the AP did independently, and I'm going to read to you a portion of the story. Scores of low-flying planes circling American cities are part of a civilian air force operated by the FBI and obscured behind fictitious companies, the Associated Press has learned. The AP traced at least 50 aircraft back to the FBI and identified more than 100 flights in 11 states over a 30-day period since late April. And I'm skipping ahead a little here. But now the aircraft are equipped with high-tech cameras and, in rare circumstances, technology capable of tracking thousands of cell phones, raising questions about how these surveillance flights affect Americans' privacy. Well, you also can tell, at least in the Ninth Circuit, whether or not it's a surveillance plane if it is flying above 4,000 feet, as case law, I believe, presently deems it a Fourth Amendment violation to be within 4,000 feet of someone's airspace. So, of course, I live tweeted all the information I had, let the ACLU and the EFF know, and I wrote an email to my local public defender's office to make sure that everybody on staff knew what kind of discovery to ask for and were aware of it to look for it in the investigation for their cases. This and chemtrail planes aren't related per se, except that this is how I learned about how to track planes and what to look for and how they're accounted for by radar systems. In fact, I'm flashing a lot of information on the screen quickly. You can pause it and read it at your leisure. I just wanted to be able to bring it to you. The resulting data I pulled did confirm, in fact, for me that there are planes that are leaving from and returning to the same airport, and they appear to be running up and down the coast and moving over populated areas. Now, the only planes I can think of that take off only to return to the same place where they began are people who are joyriding or learning how to fly, or planes on a mission, out to do something and then come back. So you can be the judge of that, but these planes are, in my opinion, fairly clearly military because information about them is very scarce, and they aren't located in any databases. I have checked all of them. I would be willing to guess that they change the hex numbers for identification regularly too, so that when they go out to fly, they aren't identified too often. Finally, several of them, most of them in fact, looked like passenger jets, and there are a series of Boeings, that Boeing and Bombardiers, I think, that the United States military uses that closely resemble passenger jets, except they're a little bit smaller. Every afternoon where there was significant chemtrailing activity, I would see a corresponding increase in the number of no-call sign airplanes that were moving along the coast, and it was more than coincidental, as I had happened to capture two of them meeting at a midpoint between two airports and each returning back around where the plane had come from. I should also mention that all of these planes shared some characteristics, such as the hex code being in the 2B0 range, and all of them flying at a very low altitude, sometimes 1,000, sometimes less than 1,000 feet, and usually getting no more than 10,000 feet. I have literally hundreds more screen captures and I won't belabor the point, but if anybody wants to discuss it further or wishes to see more, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to share.